Aloha Friday Live, everybody. Thank you for being with us. 5 o'clock sharp. I really appreciate you taking out the time to hang out with me and Ricki Garza tonight. Let me tell you a little bit about Ricki. She's been an avid supporter of the show, a great participant, always throwing some stuff. So I said, you know what? Let's not have her just participate on the on the sidelines here. Let's get her in here. So Ricki, thank you so much for sharing this afternoon, evening, because they were East Coast, West Coast, but sharing the platform with me and all that we're going to talk about tonight, which is leadership and potential. So I'm excited. Thank you, Ricki.
Well, thank you very much for asking me to come on board. What a great opportunity to share with others some of the stuff that, I kind of learned along the way. And, you're right. East Coast meets West Coast. And what can I tell you? Let's hit it out of the ballpark and help other people really understand that we all have that potential in us. Even the small steps make big strides.
Hey, man, I agree with that, and I support it. I love the East Coast, West Coast. Everybody in between is included. So if you're watching, if you're logged on, you're watching us. Hey, let us know where you're logging in from, where you're watching from, and hopefully your name pops up. If you don't have those features, those security features locked down on your site, then we'll be able to see who it is. But by all means, let us know you're in. As we discuss potential in the sense of leadership. Now, we were talking just briefly before we started, how potential is a funny thing because we can immediately see it in someone, or we could see the potential of potential, right? Something that hints to somebody that could do real good in the leadership environment, that maybe has a lot to learn, but hey, they're showing signs of one thing or another, and that's what I love about not just the word potential, but what it actually represents.
Now, that's a great way of putting it. I mean, I see it all the time, especially with inexperienced team members coming into the workforce, and they don't know where they belong, but yet they have the potential. They're bright, they can see things differently from our perspective. Is how do they then go ahead and harness that and then become the next leaders? And it's up to us. A lot of us didn't have that coaching and mentoring as we grew up. We just figured it out as we went along. Some of us had stronger personalities than others, but it's our job to mentor and coach that next generation and that next level. It just helps us expand ourselves as well, because it's like we empower somebody else. Let's empower them with the knowledge. Let them, give them a hand up. They don't have to go through the same struggles that we did in trying to figure themselves out, as well as figure out the system, plus figure out their job, plus figure out life in general.
Right.
We're there as their coaches and as their mentors, and we do see that potential, even though they may not see it because they're not confident or they just are inexperienced, but we know what they are capable of doing.
Right. And I want to take the time out to welcome Byron and Alex. Byron's actually up in Everett. We were just talking about the Pacific Northwest. And he happens to be an old shipmate of mine when we were together on the USS Iwo So thank you, Byron. Alex, thank you for being with us. Hey, talk about Byron. Let me tell you about Byron real quick. And just talking about potential, right? So, when you get a compliment of about 3,000 sailors and about 4,000 Marines, and you put them all up on one ship, you make an amphibious assault ship. That's what you do.
Yeah.
But you have so many people to come through. And as I was a senior petty officer at the time, wasn't the most senior petty officer, but was the one that was just taking action at my level. Byron was one of those young sailors that came in, and talk about potential. Right? He says 20 years now, right? 20 years. It's amazing that much time has passed. But he you start at a level, and what I want people to understand is that you don't have to stay where you are, and you're not subject to staying where you are unless you give that authority, right? So you can stay, but Byron was one individual that decided that he was not, through a lot of mentorship from various people in his life,
Yeah.
ended up being the owner of his own weather uh, program and company, and is now an accountant. I was like, wow, from this young sailor that I saw to now. And so, talk about potential in action.
No, that's definitely the way it happens, and it's up to us want want more for ourselves. And if we want to go somewhere, and it doesn't mean that it's money, that it's status, that it's the typical wealth. It can be the influence. It could be your legacy. I remember my dad, and he was my adoptive dad, and I'm so proud of him, especially in those days. It wasn't kosher to adopt somebody else's child and raise them as your own. But, he always said something that stuck with me all these years. The day that you pass away and you have people sitting out there, what are they going to say about you? Is it your net worth? Is it, oh, look, he or she owned so many properties? And that really wasn't what we want our legacy to be known as. Not what we owned, not what we had, but how much influenced. And that's how we ourselves become immortal. They say, we have a beginning and end, and a middle and an end. But reality is we continue to influence even after we're gone. It could be a comment to a colleague or a next door neighbor or a little kid that fell off the bike, and you put them back on and we're cheering them on. You can do it. And that's basically what we need to instill in everybody, and everybody that crosses our paths is give them a kernel of confidence, or that they can do it, or that they can see themselves in you. And that's what a role model is all about, is being somebody that's consistent, somebody that's helping out, somebody that's giving that kernel of a good feedback and helping them get to the next level. But it's up to us to go out and say, I want more for myself. Who can I learn from? Whether it's good or bad. Oh, I didn't like that manager, or I don't like that style of management. I don't want to be that way. So you get that feedback also, and you internalize it and you move on. And that's how you create these skill sets of what type of leader that you want to be. They say fake it till you make it, and not really. It's make it your own. Nobody can be the same leader. Nobody's exactly the same leader. We may take in the same information and have the same experiences, but we're going to make it our own. Otherwise, we're not genuine.
Yeah, that's absolutely right. Now, you talk about people that have been in front of us, leading the way, those leaders that we would like to emulate. For those that have joined us, and Dahlia, and I'm going to throw her comment up here as a sound advice. That's right. And it is sound advice. Now, for those that are listening, I know that we often don't do this, but this is a good opportunity. Write in the chat the name of the person that comes to mind that you looked at and said, I want to be like that person. I want to be the type of leader that you see right there. That's what I want to be. There was a gentleman. I'm going to name him. I won't type it in. Jim Rawls. Jim Rawls was a senior chief in the Navy, aviation, or he was in the aviation field, but he was an aerographer's agent, and he so meteorology and oceanography. So he had risen, to the rank of E8 senior chief. I was for sure this man was going to be a master chief. He had all the qualities that I thought were needed and required to be to the next rank. But guess what? Selection in the military, those that are in the military understand they're by quota, right? So if there's only one, there's only one. And so he got passed over, and he retired as a E8 senior chief. I saw him at a function, and I did not know he was gonna be there. I looked to the side, and I'm like, oh my goodness, Jim. And I went over there, and by that time I had risen to the rank of chief, and so we were kind of at that point your brothers, right? um, and I saw him. So I want to thank Jim Rawls, and I'm going to tag him on it because he is on LinkedIn. But Jim Rawls was an exceptional leader that allowed me to look farther than I could ever see for myself. And he led the way. I ended up getting to his rank and also retiring there. But Jim Rawls. So thank you, Jim. I appreciate you, brother. And there's other people here. Look, hey, there's a story right here now. Okay.
Whoa.
we're gonna keep that on there. But I tell you, there's so many people that and look at Dahlia, Lieutenant Colonel, Kelly Gwynn. There's so many people out there, and thank you for mentioning those people. We're gonna go and see if we can find them and let them know that they were mentioned. But there's just so many people that hold that spot in our life. Some of us are parents, right? You mentioned your dad, right?
Yeah.
I unfortunately did not have that, but I had other figures in my life that showed me the way. So thank you for all those that have shared, who actually impacted them in their life, because indeed they saw potential in you. And so we're talking about leadership and potential. Ricki, tell me what you look for when you're looking at people and looking at, hey, I might want to mentor this person. I see something. What do you see in terms of potential that keys
Well,
you in? That says, this person may have something golden here.
Well, one of the things, and I deal with so many different people, and I coach and train and do all sorts of different things with, and come across a lot of people. I mean, and my think always is take the individual. What is it that they like to do? What is it that they enjoy to do? And then I realize as I get to know them a little bit, I see that spark that they want to help, that they want to learn, and it's that thirst for knowledge that really connects me with them. And so it's like, okay, if I give them a little kernel, what is it that they're going to do with it? And then they take it and then they implement it and then they do something with it. And I see the potential in somebody that is always looking to better themselves. And is it on a personal note? Is it on a professional note? It doesn't matter. It's once they have that knowledge, you can't take it away from them. And then they want to learn even more. So they're enthusiastic about learning. And that's really what triggers that. Oh, they have that want. They need it. They need some help and guidance. But it's their thirst for knowledge and personal growth. And so that's what triggers me. Oh, let me work with them. And it may be just kind of on the fly and not really, oh, I'm going to sit you down. It's like, hey, have you thought about doing this? And it just triggers their mind to start thinking differently. And once you get them triggering, sometimes I don't even have to do anything else. They just take off with it. They're like, I didn't think I could do it, or I didn't even think about it. And once you get that seed in their mind, you see them start to flourish. And it's like, it's an amazing experience when you see it. And it's like, they come back and they go, you told me this like 3 years ago. And I go, I don't remember, but okay.
Right.
And they tell you what happened after that conversation. And I personally may not remember it. It was innocuous from my point of view, but for them, it was impactful enough for them to do something with it.
Yeah, I agree. Now, I tell you that while you was talking, I was thinking about the things that what potential is. What is that? It's having the capability of something but not having the ability to do it. Right now, and all of us, we all have potential to be the best version of us that could ever be, right? We may not be all there yet. Like, I'm not where I see myself yet. There's
No.
and a lot of people say, "Well, there's more." Oh, there's so much more, but I'm not there yet. But I'm working on those things to ensure that I have the capability, not only the capability, but the ability. And that once those two meet, but potential has been, actually summited. Right now, you can actually do. So, we mentioned those those people that have the eagerness to learn. I mean, they just absorbing and absorbing and absorbing. And there's a difference between learning and actually doing, right? Because that's so when you enact all that you have learned, you have actually realized the fullness of potential. So hopefully we've all not given up on our aspirations. Hopefully, even if you're not there, you're not giving up yet on what you could be and what you have desired to be. Because believe me, sooner or later, if you keep chipping away at it, you're going to get there. And we'll be there to cheer you on.
No, and like you said, we mean. I always say I don't know what I want to do when I grow up. I still don't know what I want to do when I grow up. There's so much things to do and people to see and meet and learn from. And I'm taking in every time every Friday I get this, take this kernel away from your podcast, your Aloha Life podcast. And I'm like, oh, I didn't think about it that way. And it gives me a different perspective. But I have a determination to be better tomorrow than I am today. And that goes from
Outstanding.
being influenced by Enrique or being influenced by my 7-year-old niece, because she thinks a lot different. And she has some, I say, man, she has a lot of confidence that I didn't have until I was, much, much older, maybe 3 or 4 times older than she is. And so I get to learn and take and integrate it into who I am. And the next day it's already influencing me and how I go about helping others. And making sure that they see a 360-degree version of the the impact that they're going to make. And so they're always looking to be better.
And when we're talking about uh, just getting better overall, um, we're often impacted by negative things and positive things, right? So, both of those can actually either increase our chances of realizing the potential or actually going in a hiding place, right? So not everybody, and I'm sure there's a lot of people out there that have potential to do great things but are under the type of leadership that won't allow them to flourish, or they are under the type of leadership that is just like, hey, sky's the limit, where you want to go, I'll take you there, I'll cheer you on, I'll just be there, I don't even have to do anything, just let me know what I need to do.
Yeah.
So those two different environments we could actually be in one season of our life or in another season of our life. What would you say to the person that is in the season of getting stifled, getting downtrodden, not being allowed to go the full length of their potential, um, because this is just a situation they're in?
No, and sometimes it's hard to just kind of get up, walk away from it, because we're all have different needs and we're in different situations. But if that is not the avenue for you to grow and it's not giving you the motivation and I guess, that leeway to be able to learn and the support system that you need to grow personally, go somewhere else. Go look for it. You don't have to quit if it's your job, and we all have to work.
Right, right.
But you can't just get up and walk away. But you know what? There's other areas. Go be a volunteer. Go to your church. Go to some of these organizations within your industry that are fantastic, and they give you the energy to be able to have an outlet and learn from somebody else, as well as being surrounded by positive influences. And I was in the same boat. I still kind of am, but it's like I made it a point. I'm like, you know what? I'm more than what my job is. And I have so much potential, but this is not the place that's going to allow me to grow and continue to practice it and help others. Let me go find somewhere else to do it. And so I found an organization. I'm helping team members on the side with finding a new job or coaching them on a new skill set and helping other people. And I enjoy seeing that. And at the same time, it helps me practice and be a better leader and go, okay, yes, I can do that. And it also helps me understand the differences in every single person. And I thrive on their uniqueness because then I'm learning more. But go outside, go do something else, be surrounded by positive people. And what that's going to do, it's going to give you a different point of view. And you never know where that network connection is. Or if you help somebody else, they might know somebody. And those connections are so transcend industry, transcend economy, transcends everything. It trumps everything. And those are the ones that will last a lifetime.
Yeah, I totally agree. Now, for those out there that are listening, and you've maybe had that situation where you were in a place that did not allow you to uh, increase your potential, get you closer to your goal. Hey, if you don't mind sharing what you did to get you where you need to, and maybe you didn't, and now you're wondering, man, maybe I should start looking for somewhere else to get that fill, right? Because we need that as human beings. We need uh, a certain level of encouragement, right? Now, if you can encourage yourself, that's great. That's just wonderful. But most people can't, right? They will gravitate to more of the negative than anything else. And I'll tell you that that's exactly what I did. I had to go somewhere else to get that level of encouragement and mentorship and things like that. And most often, the mentors that I had nothing to do with my industry. They were just independent folks that I saw uh, what I thought that I would need and require at that level that I was looking for. And so I gravitated to them. I actually have 5 individuals that are my mentors. Now you could get 5, you can get 20. It doesn't matter. You can get 1, just as long as you have somebody or a mechanism, a group, an organization that can actually get you what you need to advance and it's not just in your career, in life, right? And I say a person that's doing great in a career, but not doing great in life, you're not winning. You might be gaining in your industry, but you're not winning overall, because what happens if that job goes away? Oops, there you go.
There you go. But you can always take what you learn and go somewhere else and do it. So as long as you have that great foundation, you have that support group, you have a network of friends and mentors and colleagues, and that's where the strength comes in. You're never alone. And even today, I go back and I talk to some people that I met 20, 25 years ago, and I ask them, remember when I told you that? How did that work out? Or, hey, I need, today is not my day. I need some help lifting my spirits up. And boy, man, I have some great friends that, they know that I'm down and they'll come and cheer me up, and like, okay, I need this energy boost, let me get going. I can do this. But
Right.
it's better that we share and work on ourselves, and that's where the potential is. If we know we can do better because I want to, it's not because somebody else, it's not an external push, it's an internal push that you yourself are telling yourself, I can do better, I want to be better, how do I get to the next level, or how do I learn, and you go out and search for it. Especially in today's day and age, I wish, the internet is literally 21 years old just recently, and it was it 21 years ago. It was the first web page that was put out to the general public, and it was on how to use the internet. So, we have so many resources nowadays, and you said it, for good and on the other side, but let's surround ourselves with that positive energy, the positive people. If we can't find it with our jobs or our bosses, because that's not how they were trained, or that's not how they learn, that's okay. Don't wait for somebody to come up to you and say, hey, let me mentor you, let me coach you, you have the potential. You're like, no, I have the potential, let me go out and go find it.
Well,
And
look,
you'd be
hey,
surprised.
yeah, and aloha to you, brother, Gavin Wong, coming from Hawaii.
Oh, what?
Hey, my old my, I miss it. I miss it so much. Um, skill versus will matrix, right? That's what it is. And thank you for that comment, Gavin. Now, if you are typing in here, because let me tell you, it says LinkedIn user. I can't see who you are, but you have mentioned the compound effect by Darren Hardy. If you don't mind writing your name in there in the text, so I know exactly who it is. But everybody joining us, thank you so much. Thank you for being with us tonight. We're talking leadership and potential. Now, Ricki, you mentioned something that was interesting, and I really want to dive into that because you mentioned the self realization of potential is so much harder than it is for someone else to realize that we have a potential. So, in that self reflective mode of us being almost cynical about ourselves,
Yeah.
sometimes we it bears to note that the saying is we are our worst enemy, right? Which is terrible to even mention, but it is a fact, right? Sometimes we
Yeah.
just beat ourselves down worse than anyone else would. um, when it comes to potential, and I'm having a hard time even seeing that, right? Because I've been talking to a young person, has all the excuses in the world. None favor this individual. None of them, right? But they're so chained to those that they can't see the light of day. And so I've been trying to surround them with people that will, because I have always often said, if your environment is not a enriching, fruit producing environment, you will also die on the vine, right? You're going to die part of that. So you must somehow get yourself in a place where that potential can be nurtured, can be nourished, can be sought after. But you mentioned, really, it starts here. It starts with us. So, how can I get to a point where I just don't see it?
Yeah, and you know what? That's a really great point. I mean, we all had different backgrounds, and we grew up differently, and living and growing up in a certain environment, everybody that loves you and the people that surround you have this negative outlook. So you grow up with that negative outlook of yourself. And I will tell you, it is one of the most difficult things to get out of your vocabulary, and self-love. We talk about self-love. We talk about empathy. We need to start empathy with ourselves and say, it's okay that I didn't get everything done today, or it's okay that I'm not progressing as fast, but I'm better today than I was yesterday. And I'm going to take that next step. But it is a very difficult thing. And fear comes into play so much that you're fearful, especially if you're going the possibility of progressing and being better tomorrow. But you're so fearful of the change that you'd rather stay with what and how to manage. And that includes an emotional, that includes mental, and that sometimes includes even physical. You're more afraid of the potential and what can be tomorrow than where you're at. And it's hard. Aside from, like you're doing, surrounding that person with all this positivity, and other people that live it and breathe it in the now can show them. But sometimes you're going to have to go snap out of it. You are a great person. You are a great person. And we have to celebrate those small steps we take every day to better ourselves. And it may not be, I heard this lecture not too long ago, and I hear it every once in a while. And it's like, it's brushing your teeth for 5 minutes, once a day, twice a day. You do your teeth. You don't do it for a week and then you expect your teeth to be great for the rest of your life. It's these small steps that you consistently doing every single day. It's not hitting the gym for 9 hours and yes, I'm fit, and it's a lifestyle, right?
We wish.
We wish. But you do it for, a habit becomes a good habit 21 days. There's no, it's practicing it, and it's those little steps and being consistent for 21 days. For the next 21 days, and I just gave myself, it's funny because last Saturday, I gave myself the habit, because I have not been posting on LinkedIn or doing any blogs or anything. I said, I'm going to give myself, for the next 21 days, every day I'm going to post on somebody's LinkedIn page or a blog. I'm going to post for the next 21 days. Well, at the end of the 21 days, it's going to become second nature to me. I'm just not going to think about it. Take out my phone. Right. It's a one time. It's not going to be that big. Oh, wait, I have an extra 2 minutes. Let me do a second, comment. But it's not a one-time thing. It's consistency. It's small steps. And you have to give yourself a break. I mean, you really have to give yourself a break. And then also take the time to reflect. A year ago, we weren't the same person we are today. A year ago, we weren't doing the Zooms. I didn't know how to,
right.
Some people didn't even know how to do a Zoom call or a WebEx, didn't even know that their laptop had a camera. I helped some team members that are retired, but they didn't know that their laptop had a camera and speakers. Now they're doing Zoom calls,
Right.
Celebrate those little wins, and you're going to see that you take a look back and you go, oh my God, 5 years ago, I can't believe I was in that situation. Look where I am now. And then you go, okay, in 5 years, and you said your friend, 20 years ago, time flies.
It does.
So stop, take a look back and see where you were, and then go, where do I want to be? And then start putting, those little things, those little steps. I don't have a mentor. You know what? You have my name. I'm on LinkedIn. Send me an invite. Say, hey, can you coach me? Can you mentor me? And trust me, there's so many people that would love to mentor somebody else. A year and a half ago, I became a mentor because I didn't have the mentors that I was looking for. And I go, right. You know what? There was somebody else that needed that help. I became their mentor. oh my God, that took off. It made me feel better. And I go, no, that reassured me that I do have the skills to be able to help other people. And again, a year and a half ago, I probably wouldn't have thought of doing it or had the courage to do it. And I'm like, okay, I'm going to close my eyes and just jump in.
Well, it's funny that you mentioned, habits, because Gavin put this link on. I'll check it out after, Gavin, because I can't click on that right now. But I will check that out. It's part of the comments, so anybody is able to do so. Thank you for that link. But habits is one of the ways we can get out of the rut of life, because hey, it's not easy. It's not easy, not whatsoever. But you can get out of that, and it's not that it becomes any easier. You start overcoming, right? You start overcoming those little obstacles that you thought were huge, right? So, I have Diamond Head behind me. That's what it looked like sometimes when you're looking at this obstacle in front of you, and you're like, "This is enormous. I just can't do it." I'm afraid of this. I'm afraid of failure. I'm afraid of being, laughed at. I'm not that type of person. There's a lot of those that are doing it today that were, I'm not that type of person 20 years ago, right? It's just the way it is. And it's amazing. Oh, hey, no, he says sorry. No, no, no need to be sorry. I'm just saying that we won't be able to click on that, but we would love to read that. Now, when you're talking about self, and self talk and self enrichment, self all this, I always tell people, and you've heard it before, you can't give what you don't have. It's impossible to sum up and bring out something that's not there. You just can't bring it out, right? So start feeding yourself, right? I just started about maybe 3 or 4 days ago, a course out of Harvard. Number one, for me to say that, look, I'm a Puerto Rican from the mountains in Puerto Rico. That's where I'm from, right? Uh, and for me to say that, I grew up in the Bronx. Both were not the ideal places to grow up in, but Harvard, and I'm like, whoa, bro, that's crazy. And so, but I decided that, um, I want to get to a certain place, and there's a level of education that I need in that particular thing, and so I'm getting it right. Feed yourself. Do what you need to do to feed that future version of yourself. And if you can't see it, hey, just start with a baby step. Tomorrow I want to be able to, I don't know, quote somebody. I want to be able to quote somebody. And so you go spend a couple of days in a quote book or in a quote website, or and you start memorizing things. And then all of a sudden you start not only memorizing but understanding what that quote really means. And then all of a sudden, now you're throwing this quote, which not only have you looked for, you ingested, you internalized it, and now you can actually repeat it in a way where it's intellectually presented. And all of a sudden, you start feeling a little different, right? You start thinking about yourself a little different. When I was younger, I was beat down because of my accent. And like, check this out. Huepa Boricua. That's right. But hey, it happened when I was younger. They would, because I was from New York. I was from Puerto Rico. I had an accent. I still have an accent, but you know what that made me do? I grabbed that red book. Everybody should know what the red book is, and that's the dictionary, right? I grabbed that red book and I started eating it. It changed things.
Yeah.
It changed things for me. So if you are out there and you're struggling with recognizing your own potential or recognizing some things that you need to do, hey, send Ricki a message, send me a message, and we'll work that with you. We'll work it out.
Yeah.
Because there's no doubt that the capability inside of you today can change something on this earth. And so don't give up because you have it. If you can't see it, we'll help you see it. But if you do see it, keep going.
Yeah, no, and just like you know, I came to this country. I didn't speak a word of English. My parents did speak a word of English. I became their translator at the age of 10. You know, and so and I got beat up because I could not speak English, and on top of it, I will tell everybody, and I know this is going to be hard for our audience, viewers, and even you. I'm an introvert, and I'm shy. Okay, so if I can muster enough courage to be on
Yes.
this platform,
I
and
love
mind
it. I
you,
love it.
this isn't something that happened overnight. This is a lifetime
Right.
of practicing and getting out of my own fear and going, I will not allow my fear to dictate who my future self will be. And it's hard. I'm not gonna sugarcoat it. I'm not gonna tell, oh yeah, you can do this overnight. No, but this is decades of working on myself and not allowing my fears to dictate who my future self was going to be. Because if I did, I would never be on this platform. I would have never even tried and attempted to even send you a message on one of those first aloha,
Right.
live podcasts. I would have. That was never me. But I came to realize that we have a ripple effect. What we say and do today may not come back, and we may not see the positive effects we're going to have today, tomorrow, even a decade from now, but it does have positive effects.
Right.
For me to help one person, they help two people, those two people help three, two other people. This becomes bigger than yourself, and that it only takes one word of encouragement, one word of even a smile. You never know what's going on in somebody else's life, but encourage them, whether it's, hey, great job, I saw your report and it was an amazing report. Give out those comments, give out those positive comments. You never know what that's going to do for that person, their confidence, their potential. It's like they didn't realize that somebody was actually watching and appreciates who they are and what they do. You were saying about Harvard, education, and this is from Albert Einstein. Here's your quote: education is not the learning of facts, but the training of the mind to think. So think about it, go out there, do it. If you're not getting the encouragement from the people that surround you, go find a new group of friends or colleagues or a group. Trust me, there are so many extremely intelligent, positive people that are willing to help you and mentor you.
Yeah, it's funny that you mentioned that particular piece, the last about friends. One of the comments I once heard was, "Hey, the friends I'm around, you know, uh, they're just not the type of friends that will help me get to where." I said, "Get new friends." There's 7.9 billion people on this earth. Get new friends. Yeah, it's not that difficult, but I understand, right? Empathizing with a current situation, I do understand. It's harder to just pick up and go, right? It's harder to just say black, nope, no. But if you don't do it, what's going to happen? So, I mean, for those that are out there and you're thinking, oh, yeah, I'm surrounded by people that are not, if you don't do it, what's going to happen? Because you're not going to get to where you think you want to get. You're only either going to stay there or you're going to get worse, right? So if you don't do it, what's going to happen? That's a question you should be asking yourself. I often encourage others to just think about and meditate on that. Byron said you was one of my mentors. Hey, I appreciate that, and it was I was more than happy. And I'll tell you, when I saw his trajectory to where he ended up, I was just blown away. I did not even see that. So I'll tell you that, right? Some leaders can see, but so far, right? And that's another thing, right? Just because you have a leader and they can only see but so far, be smart enough to understand that your journey could be farther than that.
Yeah.
Okay. So in mentoring, one of those things is that we don't try to put limits on the individuals we're mentoring because sometimes we just can't see it. So, but for the person individually, just know that whatever you have in your heart to do and to be, that's where you should have your stake. Put it out there. And although you may have mentors along the way, they can't get you there. Keep adding mentors along the way to get you there, right? Um,
No,
so
that's a great point. I mean, especially we're taking those baby steps, especially early on in our careers, in our lives. We have those mentors. My father, my grandmother, my two aunts, man, they were something else. You didn't mess with my aunts, but they were strong females that I didn't realize how much of a mentors they were and influence they were to who I am today. But they can only take me so far, and that's where we moved to, and my next door neighbor, she was an amazing, strong, independent woman. She took me to the next level, and then I found another one in school that helped me get rid of my accent and did speech therapy. And you're right, that dictionary was my best friend. I memorized it, and then that take me to a next level, and then high school, and then life. There's steps, they're building blocks. You have to accept everybody and the help that you're getting, but they can only take you so far. And as helping others, for me, it's like, okay, I've taken you as far as I can. Let me introduce you to somebody else that's going to take you to the next level, because I can see you need more than what I can give you. But you're always going to have my friendship. You're always going to have my support. I'm going to be your biggest cheerleader on the side of the, of the baseline, and I'm going to be cheering you on. And I want to see you get to where you are meant to be at, not because I'm holding you back, but because I know you can be better.
I love that. Now, it's funny you mentioned that because it's segued now to the leadership piece of potential. So we covered, for those that are listening, we covered potential, you identifying potential, others identifying potential in you, how mentorship can actually help you. But this is the key here on the leadership side as we talk about this. And for those of you out there that are leaders, I would love to replay what Ricki just said, because and you're gonna have to go on the replay and listen to it. But the knowledge of self ability as a leader, to not hold somebody back because you can't get them there, is important. If not, if anything, you must be so self aware, well, especially if you're mentoring somebody, of your limitations, and not allow those limitations to be a stumbling block for somebody else, but have an avenue to push them onto someone, introduce them to somebody that can get them the next leg of the trip, right? A leader must be that self-aware, because oftentimes what I have seen is that they're so engrossed that they're the leader that nobody else can help. And that's impossible. Right? Even the wisest will understand that they have not been exposed to everything on this earth. And so there's someone else that can get you to the next level. And so if you're a leader, that's one thing that I implore of you as you have mentees, that you know your own limitations so that you don't allow those to influence and impact those that you're bringing along. What do you say about that?
I totally agree with you. I mean, we do have to be self-aware. I can take somebody to a certain level, and then I have to step to the side. And instead of being a mentor, I'm a cheerleader. That's all I am. I'm watching. I'm, making sure if they need me, I'm there. If they turn around, we have to let them go because we can see their potential and they're needing something that I can't give them. Or maybe they have 2 or 3 mentors. I had a few professional mentors. I have a couple of personal mentors, and they saw the potential in me and have worked with me. And now it's like, okay, I'm past that. I need more. And it's also from my point of view as a mentee, it's okay, they brought me to this level. I want to get there. How do I get there? And it's, let me go find a new mentor. Let me go learn something new. Let me take a new class. I love Harvard's curriculum. And so I will learn from everywhere. And along the way, I find somebody that's where I want to be at. My name is Ricki, and I love what you do. And I'd like to learn from you, and I've gotten better at doing that, by the way, because it takes a lot out of me to be able to ask somebody to mentor me. But we have to, as a mentor, know what our own limitations are in comparison to what their potential is. And as a mentee, I have to also look at myself and go, okay, where is my next step? Which stage am I at? And where do I want to be at in a year from now and 5 years from now? And then work my way towards that.
Absolutely. Folks out there, if you have a mentor or two, hey, drop their name in there and give them some love. Mentorship has such a profound impact on most people's lives. And if you've never been mentored, it'll blow your mind how someone else's perspective can come in and clear the way for you to move faster, farther, with less impact, smartly. It's just smart. So, for those that do have mentors, and I'll put my five mentors post the show. I'm going to put my 5 mentors on there and thank them for what they do for me on a daily basis. So we're talking potential. We realize the self potential. We realize the situation where we need to be in. Now we've added the element of leadership. What should I be looking for in my potential mentor in terms of leaders?
Well, from my perspective, I look at where I need to know where I want to be at. Where do I want to go?
Love it. Love it.
Again, it comes from self-awareness, self-empathy, and going, what is it that I want to do next? Is it that I want to be a public speaker? Guess what? I have great organization, Toastmasters International. There's one everywhere around the world. They have fantastic courses on helping you to become a public speaker, a paid public speaker. And so there are people that are willing to help you, mentor you doing that. I want to be a manager within this company. Go find somebody that works within the company, tag them, connect with them and say, hey, I'd like to one day work for your company. What is it like? Can you give me 5 minutes? Here's a list of questions. Send them a list of questions. Can you give me 5 minutes? And most people will be more than happy to help you get there. So find out where you want to be at and then go target that, whether it's an industry, whether it's a personal goal. I want to be able to stand up and be a better presenter. Okay. Find somebody that does that. And they were more than happy to give you their insights and how they got there. And that's what mentorship is about, is getting you to that next level. But it also takes, from me personally, it's figuring out what's my next step, and it's okay for you to go, I maybe tomorrow, but don't let tomorrow come, turn into a week, turn into a month, a year, 10 years. Because it does.
It does. It does. We just talked about 20 years where it flew. I don't even know where it went, but that's true. Don't allow, uncertainty, indecisiveness, not knowing to turn into days and weeks and months and years. Right. So I love how you said, you first have to know where you want to go, and most people, mentors are not there to tell you where you want to go. That's not what that is. You know, you have to. Hey, even if you can't go 5 years down the road, start where you want to be at the end of the year. Where do you want to be in 6 months? 5 months from now. Where do you want to be? Um, and then just start there. And if you have to get more micro than that, go ahead. But just have a point B to go to, and then the next point, and then the next point, and before you know it, you're where you thought, or maybe where you never thought you would be. All right. Uh, so good
Take it
point.
21 days. Yeah, no, take it 21 days at a time. Make it a habit. Whatever that might be, make it a habit. Again, my thing is I'm going to post at least one comment on somebody's blog or do my own post once a day for the next actually 19 days now. you know, do it one step at a time and make it a habit. And for me, I thought I was going to go 3 years ago when I started to look for a different career move. I thought I was going to go a different route. At that time, I was set. I'm going on this route. And then I happened to have a conversation with a friend and they go, oh, did you know that here in Los Angeles, Cal State LA has a great program? And I'm like, okay, it's literally across the way from me. I didn't know that. Let me go check it out. 6 months or 5 months later, I'm finished with the program, but it turns out I don't want to do that. That's not the direction I wanted to go to. It literally veered me off to a different area that I didn't even know existed. And so now almost a year and a half later, I am starting to go a different route. And it was because somebody made a comment. I went and checked it out. I looked at it, and it's not that I failed or that I went in the wrong direction. It's just the direction it's not for me.
Right.
When I found out about it. And then that turned into, hey, look what I can see over here that I didn't even know existed. And so now it's like, now I know what I want to do. Now I know where to go look for those mentors, that assistance, that information that a year and a half ago had no clue, absolutely no clue. And so for everybody that's out there, I don't know where I want to be. In a year from now, but let me go and see what's out there. And then you never know. You're going to trip over somebody. Somebody's going to tell you, make a comment, go, hey, have you thought about doing this? Or have you ever thought about this? And you never know where that's going to lead you. It's those Y intersections in the road of life. And it's not how you start. It's where do you want to go? And it's the journey that takes you there. And your experiences are the ones that you're going to share with others.
Yeah, that's absolutely true. Everybody, we're coming up on our time, and it goes fast.
Wow.
It goes fast. We're about 2 minutes out. Ricki, if somebody wanted to get in touch with you about any of the things that we covered today, discovering their potential, looking for future, mentors, how could they get a hold of you?
All my information is on LinkedIn. So go over to LinkedIn, go Ricki Garza or Ricki Garza. You're going to find me out there. I think I'm the only one out there. And but if not, search for me. Hashtag Ricki Garza will get you to my profile. Send me a note, connect with me, and trust me, I've been growing my network, and they're amazing people, very positive. They're willing to help. And you might be looking for a job in a different industry. Trust me, I know somebody that knows somebody, and that's what the connections are all about. That's what LinkedIn is all about. I'm here to help people, whether it's reviewing their resume, whether I just help somebody starting to transition into a new industry in a new country. So what can I tell you, and it just took one seminar, and our paths crossed. And to tell you that once our paths cross, for me, everybody that passes my path, I take with me something from them, and it makes me a different person than before the meet. So make sure you just connect with me. I'll be more than happy to get you connected or help you. And, maybe we can have a chat, a one-on-one chat.
Outstanding.
I'm going to leave you with this quote because I love this quote. It's by Joseph Campbell, and he was a professor, and he says, we must be willing to get rid of the life we planned so as to have the life that is waiting for us.
So So true. I mean, some people are still tied to the life that they thought they should have had, but don't, right? Instead of turning it in, hey, turn it in. Hey, be flexible enough to go where the journey actually takes you, and just be smart enough to say, hey, that doesn't serve me today, and get rid of it. Right. So amazing. Thank you, Ricki, for being with me. Everybody out there, thank you so much. Aloha Friday. God bless you, all of you. And we will see each other next week when we talk leadership once again on Aloha Friday Live. Bye bye.
Thank you, everybody. Bye bye.